Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Um, I'm just going to go over to day 3, specialization, division of labor, and business choices. This is something that we were talking about yesterday a little bit, and we will go from there. This is just another way that businesses are able to maximize their productivity. We talked about communication and transportation and advertising. This is just another way that they're going to be able to do it, but this way they do it with the people who work at jobs. So that's kind of what we're going to get into. By the end of today's class, you're going to be able to answer what specialization means. What does labor force mean? You're going to be able to identify items that are mass produced, understand why companies have a certain amount of jobs, like employees, like people working there, and you'll understand what a profit is. You'll also understand what a loss is. You'll be able to identify ways to obtain a profit in business. You'll be able to identify ways to avoid a loss in business and understand what an incentive is. So first and foremost, we're going to get into the vocabulary words. Specialization is focusing on a specific skill or area of expertise. The next one is division of labor, dividing a job into separate tasks so workers can specialize in doing one task. Mass production is manufacturing of large amounts of standardized products. Most of everything that you guys buy has been mass produced, from shoes to clothing to even food that you eat is mass produced. Profit is money that is made in business. It's kind of self-explanatory. A loss is a decrease in the net income of business. Incentive is something that make someone want to do something or work harder. I bring up a car salesman. They usually get paid on the amount of cars that they sell. They get a percentage back of the money that those cars that they sell, and that's an incentive. If they sell cars, they make money. If they don't make money. So that's kind of how car salespeople work with incentives. So again, we're talking about specialization, division of labor, and business choices. This covers your Ohio State Standard on the economic strand and in the topic of production and consumption. So first and foremost, we're going to look at unique jobs and figure out what specialization is. Specialization is just focusing on a specific skill. Okay, so you have police officers, you have firefighters, you have doctors, and you have construction workers. Those are all jobs. But within those jobs, people have specific skills. So all doctors aren't equal, okay? So a doctor may specialize in children medicine, and another doctor may specialize in surgery. So those are specific skills, and that's what specialization means. Construction workers. Not all construction workers can do everything. So some construction workers are able to pour the concrete. Some construction workers are able to, build the walls of the house. Some construction workers are able to do the electricity. Some construction workers are able only to do the roof. But that is the specialization of that group of the jobs. Okay, so whenever you're specializing, you're just focusing on a specific skill. And like I was saying, division of labor, this is how you get it. That's why the specialization comes into play. Division of labor is a way a business splits jobs, okay? So if you go to a restaurant, not everybody has the same job. Some people are really good at something and some people aren't really good at something else. So that's how you get your division of labor. Okay, so you have a hostess who seats you. Okay, that person's job is to seat the people coming in. That's really their division of labor. That's what they specialize in. The waitress and waiter, they specialize in taking your order. Your chef is not going to be sitting your diner, the people coming in. The chef's going to be cooking the food. The meal brought out by the waiter and waitress, and the bill paid to the cashier. So those are all specialized jobs, and that's how a business splits up one big task into multiple little ones, and it makes it so much easier. Everyone has a job. They specialize in what they do, and they would struggle in other areas, right? The cashier may struggle if you put her in the kitchen to cook food instead of a chef, and the chef may struggle working a cash register. That's not what they specialize in. So that's the whole point of division of labor. So when we think about it, what specialization or division of labor jobs are in the school? Well, when you think about that, the specialization or division of labor is you got principals, you have secretaries, you have teachers, you have intervention specialists, you have all kinds of people that are specializing in different areas. And then even with teachers, you're specializing in an area. So I teach social studies. That is my specialization area. Mrs. Smith teaches English. That is her specialization and division of labor. We don't have one teacher teaching all the subjects. So the good and the bad division of labor. This is what's going to be in your reading today. So I want you guys to go ahead and watch that video. That's going to be in your reading. Just watch the video and it's going to explain a little bit more about how the good and the bad of the division of labor and what's positives and negatives about it. So do you remember assigning separate skills by job or task is an example of what? That is going to be specialized jobs. I take that back. That is not specialization. That is division of labor, guys. So the labor force, all the labor force is working men and women. Labor equals work. Labor force equals the number of adults working. So whenever I ask you what the labor force means, you're going to say it's the number of adults working. Labor productivity is the output of a worker in a specific time frame. So if we're going to build a house and somebody shows up and says, okay, I can put walls up in a day, that is the output of that worker in a specific time frame. So labor productivity is one wall, the walls of a house done in one day. That's the productivity. Labor relations is just laws to put into place to protect workers. This is usually whenever you have unions on the job, protecting workers' rights and pay and everything else. So why do we need unions and why do we have to have protection for employees? Well, back before unions were created, there was not safe working conditions. There wasn't fair pay and there were no rules about long hours and not everybody got it treated fairly. Okay? And the way that unions can make themselves get what they want in negotiations, they can organize a strike. Okay? And whenever you organize a strike, nobody works. They demand changes and then usually you negotiate to come back to work. Okay, so that's why we have unions, to make sure that employees are treated fairly, they don't work long hours, they get fair pay, and they have safe working conditions. So mass production. When we talk about mass production, we're going to talk about everything that is mass produced, okay? So all it is producing large numbers of the same item, okay? That means from clothing, shoes, everything that you buy in bulk. Like if you go to the store and you see there's 50 boxes of cereal, of one cereal, that was mass produced. If you see that there are 30 of the same cars on a car lot, those are mass produced. So whenever we mass produce things, it decreases time workers spend on an item, okay? Because you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you're going to get faster. Right? Your only job is to maybe put the windshield in a car, or your only job is to make sure that the cereal boxes are sealed. So it decreases time, and it also lowers the cost to make, which means that it lowers the cost to buy. So that's a good thing. So is this mass produced? Bicycles. If you look at the worker, they all look like they're doing something different, right? So yes, this is a mass produced item. Is this mass produced? A bracelet with your name on it? No, this would not be mass produced because this is not something that everybody would buy. You couldn't buy a bracelet with just somebody else's name on it, right? I don't know why you'd want to do that. So this is not mass produced. This is actually specifically made for a person with that name. Is this mass produced? Boxes of mac and cheese. Well, if you look here, the machines are doing all the work and there's a lot of mac and cheese. So yes, this would be mass produced. Cars, are they mass produced? I just talked about it and that would be absolutely yes, they're mass produced. We don't have one car being made specifically for one person. And generally, if you do, it's going to cost a lot more money. But if you get the standard car, that one is mass produced. So choices. Now we need to think about how businesses make choices. All right. So whenever you open a business, your number one goal is to make money, right? That's what profit means. Profit means to make money. Right here. This word right there means to make money. You want to make money. And at the same time, when you're making money, you want to be able to grow your business. So maybe it starts out really small. You only have 3 or 4 items that you're selling. And then as your business grows, you're able to expand from 3 to 4 items to maybe 10 items. And of course, to do that, you have to spend some money to make money. Okay. That's really the number one goal. You have to make your money work for you. So if you spend some money, maybe you're expanding your items that you're selling from 4 to 10, you got to buy those 6 other items, or at least buy the 6 things that you need to, or buy things that you have to make those 6 items. So that'll increase your customers. You need to increase your advertising, and you need to increase your activities within your store. So that's how everything works inside a business. Okay. Everything, your number one goal in business is to make money. And really, when you make money, you have customers, right? So you're always trying to get customers in the door. And like I was saying about yesterday about advertising, if you advertise and say, hey, buy one, get one free today, come on in today, the business isn't hoping that you're just coming in just for that deal. They're going to hope that you're coming in and you'll buy other things, and that'll make them more money. The advertising gets you in the door. And then once you're in the door, their hope is that you're going to spend more money than just use that one coupon. So employee and employer, what's the difference? Well, really simple. An employee is a person who is hired for a job. Okay, so this is the normal everyday worker. Okay, this is a person hired for a job and they're paid to perform, right? They're paid to do that job. An employer is the owner of a business. And if you're the owner of the business, obviously you make decisions. Okay, so that's the difference. An employee is a person who's hired, an employer is the owner. So what does employees need? Why does employees need employers? Well, if I'm looking for a job, I need to find an employee. If I own a business, I need to find an employee that can provide that job. So without workers, I wouldn't be able to make money. So if you get an employee, you need a job that the business provides, and you have to pay them to perform. Okay. So if you get a job, you're going to get paid. And that's why employees need employers, because without workers, you are not making money. And they can't do all the jobs. So if I open up a restaurant and I own the restaurant, I am not going to be able to seat the person, take their order, cook their meal, get their food, make sure I wait on that one table, because hopefully I have more than one table. So I can't do all the jobs. So I have to hire employees. I have to hire people. And because of that, it would be easier to divide job into smaller responsibilities. Well, like I said, whenever you get specialization, like we were talking earlier, it's so much easier to do the division of labor. And employees can efficiently perform the task, right? If you're not good at a job, you probably won't have a job. But if you're good at it, you'll keep your job. So many factors determine the needs of how many people you need working for you. If I own this little stand right here, maybe I only need 1 or 2 people, right? Because it's going to be me plus somebody else, or whenever I'm not there, it'll be 2 people. So I probably am only looking at 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 or 4 at the max if I'm owning a small business like this. If I'm owning a giant warehouse, I'm going to need a lot of people, right? Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of special jobs in here. So you got to make sure how many people you have. If I own a store that is like a shoe store, maybe I have 10 to 15, just depending on how big the store is. Okay. So a lot of factors determine the size of business, like I just said, the work that you need to be done. So in this warehouse, there's probably a lot of jobs that one person would not be able to do in a day by themselves. So if you hire 50 people, you then are able to say, okay, 10 of you are going to stock the shelves, 10 of you are going to put the items in the truck. 10 of you are going to unload the truck that's coming in with the new stuff. And that's how you're able to do that. You couldn't expect one person to do all of those jobs. If you work here in a shoe store, 10 to 15 people, maybe 5 people a day work, right? So that's the thing. So you need to figure out how much work needs to be done, how big your business is, and then you're trying to make money. You want to make sure that you're not paying your employees too much to where you're not making money. So those are the 3 factors that you need to decide whenever you're looking at hiring people. So this is something that's going to be on the test for you guys. Who has the most employees working? Who has the least employees working? This food truck has the least. This warehouse has the most, right? And and I just went over why. So that's going to be on your test, guys, to be able to figure out which one has the most employees working for them. So we just went through this too. The food truck, why do they need less people working? Well, you can't have a lot of people inside a food truck, right? You can only maybe have 2 people. So maybe you have 2 to 3 people working on that you hire, right? 2 to 3 people. And then if you're not there, you can have somebody fill in for you. So you're not looking for a lot of people there. Warehouse, I just told you, right? Multiple jobs, multiple things that they have to do. And you need to have people doing different jobs at different points in the day. And that's why you need a lot of people working in a warehouse. So what is profit and how do businesses obtain it? I kind of touched on this. Profit is money that is made, right? So the way you can make more money as a business, just produce better items, right? If you're selling junk, you're not going to make money. People are going to say, I'm not going to that store because they make junky items. You need to attract more customers. Okay. So that's a way that you're able to do that. You can attract more customers. You can also raise some prices, but that comes with a double-edged sword here, guys, because if you raise them too much, then you're going to lose some customers and then you may not make money. Okay. You can also, this is not very popular, but you can also lower pay for employees. So whenever you hire new ones in, you can start them out at a lower pay scale. That'll make your money go higher because you're not paying out money. Using incentives, like I said, a car salesman, if you sell a car, you get percentage of that back. So that's an incentive. So right into the car salesperson, incentives is something that makes someone want to work harder. So if a car salesman knows he's going to get a $5,000 bonus every time he sells a car, he's going to want to sell a car, right? He's going to want to push that car and get it sold as fast as possible because he's going to get a big bonus. And the more cars that he sells, the bigger the bonus there is. Okay. So sometimes car salesmen don't work per the hour. Sometimes they work on only what they sell. Sometimes they do have hourly wages, but it's usually not that high because they work on the incentives. They work on the incentive to sell cars. So on the flip side of making money, what happens when a business loses money? That's called a loss. Okay. That is what lost is. So what can happen whenever a business loses money? Well, a couple of things can happen. We talked about competition. Maybe the competition is too great. There's just not enough people buying stuff that are able to buy stuff, and there's too many companies, right? Supply and demand, guys. Remember we were talking about that. If the supply is too high and your demand's too low, then it's not going to work out. And that's what that means by competition is too great. Again, issues with the product. Maybe you sell one item, right? And that item is something that everybody needs, but it breaks all the time. They're going to start looking for other places to buy the product from. Little to no to little customers. Again, this goes back to the competition is too great. If you don't have anybody buying stuff, you're not making the money. And then seasonal businesses. Okay, you can lose money if you're a seasonal business, meaning right now, the people who are plowing driveways, they're making a lot of money, right? But if it doesn't snow and they can't plow driveways, they're going to lose money because they still got to pay their employees, right? So that's how you can lose money if you're a seasonal business as well. So what happens whenever you lose money in a business? Well, what you need to do is you need to rebound from it. Okay. So there's a couple ways that you could do it. One, you can reduce the number of people that you hire and that work for you. Okay. That'll decrease the amount of money that's going out. You can lower the cost of the items. You can lower the amount of work. So meaning maybe you reduce the number of employees from like 5, and then you reduce it to 2, right? So you get rid of 3 employees. So now you have 2 employees. All right. So now instead of having five employees, you have 2, and maybe you don't make those 2 people work 40 hours a week. Maybe they only work 30 hours a week. So you've drastically cut down your costs going out to your employees, right? So you want to try to work harder and you want to work faster. Okay. So that's the thing that you want to do. So lower the amount of hours, lower the amount of employees, and make sure that you as a business owner are working harder and you're working faster. And those are ways that you can rebound from a loss. So did you get it? I'm not going to go through these. I'm going to actually make a book it up and have you guys do a book it tomorrow. And we'll go over all these. But as I end this today, I want to go over what your homework is. And your homework is to read Specialization and Division of Labor. You are not to do the assignments in the reading. I've gotten emails from students saying, hey, I'm sharing this document with you. I don't need that shared document. I do not want you to do the assignments in the reading. Okay. Do not do that. I need you to read business choices. Okay. Need you to do that also. Again, do not do the assignments in the reading, but I do need you to do week 2 homework, Division of Labor video and worksheet. Watch the video and open up the worksheet and they will work together. Okay. It works just the same way. If you don't watch the video, the worksheet isn't going to do any good. Okay, you have to watch the video. Everything's pulled. Every question from the worksheet is pulled from this video. So make sure you watch that video, okay? And then if you want to turn in the CNN 10 worksheets, watch it on your own. The link is under bonus points. Look up CNN 10 for January 26th, and you can turn that in, okay? I will see everybody on Thursday, and then we will be doing Book It tomorrow for the review for the SCA on Friday. All right, guys, I hope you have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.